we need to find the inverse of 8 first. So if 8 is my x-coordinate on my inverse, it was what on my original? It was the y-coordinate. So you only have one piece of information about f of x anyway. So if you've got f of 3 equals 8, that means that 3 would be your inverse of 8. So now we've got 1 over f prime of 3. And then f prime of 3 is just given to us there. So we'll have 1/5. That one is much easier than some of the others that we're like working our way up to, because it does not have distracting information, right? Like there are no pieces that you don't have to use for that. So do that second one right there for me. Okay, so for this one, we got 1 over f prime of f inverse of -2 is what we should use when we plug into our formula. We got to find f inverse of -2 first. What is it? It is 6. Because right here is our -2 is the y-coordinate for this point, so the x that goes with it is your inverse. So we got 1 over f prime of 6, and then what is f prime of 6? 1/2. They're not going to leave it like that, but dividing fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second and multiply, and you should just get 2 for your answer there. Okay, so this process is going to be the same even when you have complicated tables like we see right here. So we've got, this table has x, f of x, and f prime of x. It does not have anything about the inverse or a g of x. Here they have told us, in this case, that g of x is the inverse of f of x. Even though it looks more complicated, I just like the inverse notation better. I can like keep track of what I'm doing better if I have that. So if you want, you can write this as g prime of 3 equals f inverse prime of 3. You might not need to do that to keep it straight in your mind, but somehow these problems, I've got them pretty straight now, but like I taught it poorly the first few times I taught it. Like they're not hard, but they're confusing to me. Like I get mixed up on what to do there. So it's 1 over f prime of f inverse of 3. So what you're trying to do there first is find f inverse of 3. This somehow really used to confuse me badly on like what exactly to do at this point. But hopefully I've taught it to you better than I used to teach it. So what would f inverse of 3 be? It's going to be 1. So we got 1 over f prime of 1. And we find that because the 3 is the x-coordinate on our inverse, which means it was the y-coordinate or the f of x coordinate on our original function, right? So we're looking for a 3 here. There it is. And the x that goes with it is your inverse right there. So then you just have to find f prime of 1. What is f prime of 1? It is 2, because you are just using this right over here. So you get 1/2. Okay. All they had to give you for that question was that line. The other stuff is just there to try to distract you. Do the next one there. Okay? Check with your neighbors, see what they got. See if you got the same thing. Or your backdoor neighbor there.
Keller, did you get 2? Okay.
All right, sounding like 2 is our answer. Let's look at it. You're doing 1 over f prime of f inverse of 6. What is f inverse of 6? It is 2. Because you are looking here at the 6, it's the 2 that goes with it. And what is f prime of 2? 1/2. And dividing fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second and multiply, and you just get 2 for your answer. Okay. Now, this last page, I've got a few different types of problems here. So some of these are inverses and some of them are not. And the assignment that you're going to have today is the same. Some of them are inverses and some of them are not. We have a big table here with f, f prime, g, and g prime. Are f and g inverses of each other? Does it tell us that anywhere? It does not. So f and g are different functions here. If they don't tell you that they are inverses, you do not assume that they are inverses here. And in fact, if you look at the numbers, you can kind of tell, well, they can't be inverses in that case. So if I want to do number 5, I'm finding g inverse prime of 5, which is going to be 1 over g prime of g inverse of 5. And so I'm looking for g inverse of 5 first. Which line do I need to be looking for a 5 on? There is actually only one 5 in this, but it is our g of x line. You're not using f at all for this question, so you wouldn't use any of those numbers there. And you don't want to use g prime yet. So you're looking at this 5 right here. It is the only 5 on the page, but we'll see some of the others that shows up. So what is g inverse of 5? Is 0, because we'll go back up here. So we got 1 over g prime of 0. And what is g prime of 0? It is 6, so we get 1/6 for our answer. Okay. For number 6, that one doesn't have anything to do with inverses. How do I take the derivative of that k right there? Quotient rule. I'm going to use the quotient rule for that. So I'm mixing these in because they love to put both of these types of problems with table problems, and that's what's going to be on our assignment mostly today. So k prime of x. First of all, if you're doing this and it's FRQ, write out k prime of x. Don't skip it. Show every step, because if you don't, there's a lot of chance for missing problems or parts of it. So you got g of x times f prime of x minus f of x times g prime of x all over g of x squared. So if we want k prime of 2, you are essentially just plugging in 2's for all of those x's. Now, I think on the AP exam that if you skipped straight to this, g of 2 times f prime of 2 minus f of 2 times g prime of 2 over g of 2 squared, I think you'd be okay if you wrote that part. You're just safest if you put both of them. I know it's a little bit annoying to write all of that out because we kind of like to shortcut it, but I would put both of them. If you don't put both of them, make sure you put at least one of them, because what I see a lot of kids doing is going straight to the answer because they know what quotient rule is, and they start plugging things in. But on a free response question, you're going to miss points for that because they are probably giving you a point for the derivative. Plus, if you plug something in wrong, you'll get no points at all for that. But by showing this, that really like safeguards against that. So what is g of 2? So we're going where x equals 2. We're going down to the g line. That is 1. What about f prime of 2? Negative 1. F of 2? 2. And g prime of 2? 0. And then we need a g of 2 again on the bottom. And that was 1. Okay, on a free response, you could leave it like this, but a lot of times you'll want to know what that actually is. So you're going to get negative 1 minus 0 over 1. That's just going to give you a negative 1 for your answer there. Okay, questions? Right, because this has nothing to do with an inverse, so we're not going to use that formula right there. So these get mixed in a lot of times. Like they might give you a table problem, especially like on a free response question. They might give you a table problem, and one of the sections might be about an inverse, but then the other may have nothing to do with the inverse at all. So on the assignment today, I kind of mixed all those in. You'll see some inverses, but you'll also see a lot of these that really don't even belong in this unit. But I want you to see them side by side because a lot of times students get confused between the two for that. Okay, try 7 and 8 on your own. I'm going to work them up here, but I'm going to freeze my screen. Sorry, Ethan, I forgot to record that going over this last two. Here's the answer for this, negative 1/2. Here's the answer for the last one. You can pause it and look at the solutions if you want.